put different, but just put in the chat if you don't mind. Where's everyone from? So we got Detroit, Seattle, Queens, New York, San Francisco, Massachusetts, South Carolina. Wow, nice. This is a big group. Actually, we probably, oh, there we go. We have another one from Massachusetts. So I was just saying, this is about equal the same amount yesterday, and I'm think we can get started now. We're at 21, and I did have 22 that confirmed. But let's go ahead and get started because I really want to get you all in and out. I know we have a 90-minute session. Again, my name is Tan Tran. I am the Executive Director of Accelerate for Kids. And what we're doing today is having a training session for every one of you who have volunteered to be part of the Guinness World Record event. Now, just to share with you my screen now, this is what the agenda is going to be like. And I hope I'm going to be able to do this correct. I'm going to share it. Tell me if you can see my slide deck. Yes?
Yeah.
No?
Well, you haven't put it up yet.
All right. So anyways, welcome to the Guinness World Record Volunteer training section. I spelled volunteer wrong. So let me just put that out there. And this is the second of 3 sessions. We had one yesterday, we have one today, and tomorrow at 9 a.m. And so we're hoping to make sure that everyone is able to not only join us, but if not, we are recording this today as a live session, and we're going to be able to provide this video to other volunteers as they participate. So here's the agenda today. So my goal is to make sure that we do a quick introduction, and this introduction is going to be very simple, but it's going to be around the Guinness World Record, and there will be a couple of things that we're going to need you to do as part of our introduction, that is filling out a schedule, so that way we can make sure we know what time you can actually participate and volunteer on Friday, December 11th, and be able to give us your schedule, so that way we can make sure that we allocate that day and time, or that, at least that time, so that way you can make it. We also have a couple other forms, and I'll talk about that later. Then we're going to go do the online lesson. So I'm going to kind of switch back to my video. How many of you, just a raise of hand using the raise hand, how many of you actually did the dry run with us last week? This is actually the dry run, the testing of our lesson plan. Great. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. We have a few, which is awesome. So what's going to happen is that we're going to be going through that again, but we're going to do just a few tasks. And I'm hoping that once we do the first few tasks, as volunteers, you know what it takes to complete it. And then at the same time, you'll know what the whole logistic is all about. So if there's someone who needs help on getting to certain tasks, you will be able to get them to that task. And then we'll talk about troubleshooting. We'll focus on some of the scenarios, things that you can do to help the volunteers out. And then the last is we'll conclude. So that would be pretty much what we're doing. And then I'm going to go ahead and go into our first slide. It's the introduction. So this
Hey, Todd.
Hello.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt. Your slide deck's not showing. We're seeing the Google Meet tab.
Yep. If you can just select like share a different tab if you have it open in a different tab.
Got it. So I know that I'm using Chrome, so I have multiple windows open. So even if I flip from one Chrome window to another, it kind of flips at the same time.
So you can share your screen, or you can share a tab so that you can still see us, or you can see the document that you're presenting.
Okay.
Or you can share a window too.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to stop share here, and I'm going to go share window. You know what? I'm going to do tab. Maybe that would be better, because that way I'll have that tab open. And then, actually, no, I'll probably do window, because there's going to be other there'll be other tabs on there I'm going to need.
And if you prefer, Tom, if it's easier for you, you can rejoin the meeting, just have 2 versions of the meeting up, and we can be on one and you can present the tab on the other.
No, I appreciate that. All right, so we're going to go. So did you see my screen now?
Perfect. We see that. We see the slide presentation.
All right, so this is the presentation, and we're going to first talk about quickly the Max history. So last year, we started doing teaching people how to code. We did about 150 kids in our area. So this year, with the pandemic and with everything that's going on, we reached out to Guinness World Record and we said, hey, would it be possible if we were to not only teach youth about computer science during the National Computer Science Week, which is next week actually, could we actually try to break a world record? Is there any record that you can provide? And they said, yes, we do have one. Because of the pandemic, they created one that's for virtual only. So we signed up for the record titled most users to take an online computer programming lesson within 24 hours. So because of that, we are now gearing to break that record. There is someone that already has a record of 2,800. So we have to beat 2,800 to break the official record. And that will take place on Friday, December 11th. It starts at 8 a.m. Eastern time, and it goes all the way to Saturday, December 12th, 8 a.m. Eastern time. So you have 24 hours to do this, although the lesson only takes about 45 to 55 minutes. So last week when we did the dry run, it took an average of 50 minutes for everyone to complete. So with that said, Guinness World Records involved in this. We do have an adjudicator that will be watching and monitoring our work, as well as making sure that not only our volunteers, and they did say that all volunteers can be counted. So what that means to you guys is that on the day of, after we go through this, on the day of, which is December 11th, everything is going to be a clean slate. Whatever you did do today, and you will have access to this for the rest of the week, so that way you can play with the lesson plan. But after, on the day of, everything's going to be removed and everyone's going to have to redo it. Just keep in mind that they do require that you do it at least 30, at minimum 30 minutes. So if you've already done it once, maybe twice or 3 times, you might fly through it, but keep in mind that on the day of, you have to do it at least 31 minutes. So that way it will be counted. They have looked at all the data points. They're looking at all the engagement points. If that numbers don't match up, they're not going to count it. So if you're putting in the time, we hope that you'll take the time to do more than 31 minutes. So that way it will be counted. So keep that in mind. So the first thing I'm going to do now, going back to my slide, is that I'm going to give you a schedule form. So this schedule form is for you to fill out while we're waiting. It's not long at all. And the whole purpose of this is to get your schedule for the event. And as organizer of the event, we want to make sure that whatever time you put in there, we want to make sure that we can allocate that time, because of course we need your help, because it is 24 hours. So I'm going to put in the chat right now, the link, and go ahead and click on that link and please fill out the form. Again, it shouldn't take you more than a minute, but take your time. And if there's any questions, let me know. The goal here is just to put in your schedule, the hours that you can work. And we do ask that you work a minimum of 2-hour slot. That way we can, we can help you for at least 2 hours. While you're doing that, I will also say that there was a question yesterday that said, well, I can't guarantee that I can come back after 2 hours, but let's say on that day I do have time. Can I come back? And the answer is yes. And the reason why is yes is because on the day of, we're going to hopefully by before the event, you're going to get a link, a Zoom link, and that link will allow you to go into a session. In that session, there will be a supervisor. We call it the Zoom supervisor, and they'll allocate you to a breakout room. So everybody who comes into this link, they'll be assigned to you. But you have that link for the whole day. So in other words, you'll have access to be in that Zoom as long as you want to. But we ask that, if we allocate you that time, hopefully you can come at that time. And if you can do more, that's great. Just put it on the schedule, and we will almost guarantee that we'll try to fit your schedule so that way you can help out.
Just to make sure I understand that, so if I submit few slots, you'll give me a slot that I need to attend, but apart from that, if I have some free time because of meeting cancellations or whatever, I can join the Zoom link and you'll allocate me to some other task.
That is true. The answer is yes.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions?
But that seems like magic. How would you know that somebody has rejoined some random link in order to assign students to go to that link?
Oh, so the way it works is, of course, number one, if we assign you there, then the Zoom supervisor would know who's going to be at that time. So if you are not assigned there, then you'll pretty much assume as a student or someone who's calling in. And if you are someone who's a volunteer, if there's an open breakout room, then we can put you in there. If not, then of course you'll probably be in the main room along with the supervisor and helping out. But the only problem with having so many people in one room is that, you know, other people will hear the conversation. So that's why we try to put everyone in a breakout room. Did that make sense? Philip, did that make sense?
Let's move on.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounded like an exception anyway, like only if you had interruption, right? And you shouldn't be interrupted if you're the sole leader. You should probably be sure you can be there or pass it off to someone else in some way.
Yeah.
Right.
So the point is that there will be a one supervisor in that one Zoom, and then of course all the volunteers are in a breakout room. So if all the breakout rooms fill, then anyone who's there are either going to be volunteer, either the supervisor or the students. So that's the assumption there. All right. So is everyone who's not done filling out the form? All right. So thank you for that. So the next thing we're going to do is we have a quick assessment, and the reason why we have this assessment is just to make sure that this is no way to test you. Okay. So I want to make that clear. What we're trying to do is to kind of get an idea where you are, and then from there work our way to breaking of training you the issues that you have most problems with. So we're hoping that you don't understand any of these questions, and because of that, our training will be more worthwhile. If you understand all of this, then you probably don't even need to be here. So that's the purpose of the training, of the assessment. So I'm going to share this with you on the link. And go ahead and click on that link and go ahead and start the assessment. Again, our goal here is just to see how much you know of the event, as well as, you know, of Bitsbox, which is the platform we'll be using to have the kids code JavaScript. Again, I want to reiterate, this lesson, you do not need to know computer programming experience, number one. And we're hoping that anyone, anywhere can participate. So that way we can make sure that it's easy enough for everyone to help us break the world record. So while you're doing that, I'm going to go pull up my screen and make sure I know where everyone's at.
And Tom, did you want to comment real quickly at all on why we're not using a Google program? Because that was a pretty discussion.
I know, and I think that was a good question in the before. So the only two reasons that I could think of, and Heather, since you helped me before, you might can confirm this. So number one, the reason was because the breakout session, when we sent out a link to somebody, they didn't require to have a Gmail account. Now I understand that you don't require to have a Google account to sign in. However, there have been problems, like say, when we have people from like Hotmail account or Yahoo account that need to have a Gmail account. So that were incidents that happened that we made us kind of move to Zoom. The other was, and again, maybe it's not a major issue, but we can create a link that already have the password. So in other words, in our platform, if they need help, they just click on that link and they go right to our Zoom window without any requirement of installation. With the Google, I know that some people need to have the password. Now you can correct me on those two. I'm okay to, I mean, like I said, we're here to learn too.
Yeah, you don't need a password for Meet if we're talking about Meet in the breakout rooms. That's up to the presenter. The host actually is the one that creates the password. So you don't have to have a password. So I don't think that would be an issue.
Yeah, but can you tell me how many?
Sorry, go ahead, Tim.
I'm sorry, Heather. So how many can be in a Google Hangout? And again, you guys, please finish the assessment as we're talking. but how many people can be in a Hangout?
250.
Okay, so, and then my understanding is that we have to allocate 250, let's say we have 2,000 kids. Okay, or not because actually 50% of them are adults. Actually, 55% are adults and the rest are all kids. But even with that said, 2,000 people, we have to know how, for each of those emails, we have to allocate those 250 to that Google Hangout, correct?
Yeah, you'd have to give them the link specifically.
So
Yeah,
with,
it probably was
I'm
simpler
sorry.
to go with Zoom.
That's what again, we want to use Google. We actually were going to use Google CS first as well, but we just try to make sure that again, you guys are very wonderful to us, and we're trying to do everything we can to use Google product. That's why we're using Google Hangout now. But on the day of the event, yes, we were trying to make sure that we don't lose any registrations.
Yep. Sorry, I meant mostly the CS first. So we had a pretty lengthy discussion, folks, just for context on using CS first. Google has some pretty strong privacy controls, and so we do not collect information for students under the age of 13. And so we were not able to log some of the information that Guinness World Records needed to identify individual users through our CS first program. So we're going to be using this other program. Don, I'll work on getting the approvals for people to use their corp accounts to access Zoom, but that's not a given quite yet. So I'm still working on that.
But if Jasmine, thank you for clarifying that, and thanks for explaining that to the group. Can I also ask that in regards to if we give you the link and it's just a browser link, do you still need approval?
We need approval for anything that is not a fun coded event. So I still have to get corporate approval for that. I've already initiated that request and I am pretty sure we will get it. Otherwise, I might have to ask folks to sign in with personal email accounts if you're still interested in participating.
Is that across Google?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hit you up afterwards, Jasmine, because I've got some
Please
questions.
do. I'd appreciate that. Yeah, I can take
All
that
right.
offline so we don't interrupt. Thanks, Heather.
Yeah, thanks.
Heather, thanks, Jasmine. So let's go see. We're about, it was 37, 15. Yep, there's a 25. Yep, we've got everyone signed in. So we'll go ahead and so I'm just going to quickly look at the information that people submitted. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide. And then, so as we go through each of these questions, and we'll answer the questions later on. But what I'm going to share with you, the next thing is the planning guide. Now, the whole purpose of the planning guide. Well, let's go back. The whole purpose of the assessment was just to kind of give you an idea, some of the things those are the things that you're going to hopefully be aware of on the event. And then the guide itself is actually your cheat sheet. And let me go. While I pull that up, I'm going to just give you the link. And the guide here is your cheat sheet, so that way you can be able to know what is expected on that day. So if you want to download that, and I'll pull this, I'll pull up the slide on my page. So if you're able to get it, you can download it. So I don't know, can you actually see my screen? Do you see the presentation guide on my screen?
Currently still seeing your introduction. Now it's changing currently. So it just went away.
Let me go ahead and show you.
Now we see this officially. Yes.
So this is a one pager. You can print it out. It's going to be it's 2 page or back to back. It could be 1 page. So this is pretty much everything you need to run your event on that day. As a matter of fact, I mean, you guys as well as other people will have access to this. This is not like anything that's hidden. So it pretty much on the left side of the column, it talks about the day of the event, the time, the platform, and the website we use. What login email, so everyone's got a unique email that they have to log in when they go to this website on the day of. And then there's a password. It's going to be one common password for everyone. So Guinness World Record allows to make it that, at least it gave us that opportunity to make it that simple. So everyone would not have, if someone's forgot their password and they call in, at least you know the password for the day, because it's going to be the same password that you're using. in regards to instruction wise, this is the instruction. First, here's some of the things that we recommend. As we go through the lessons later on, we do recommend that you have at least 3 windows open. Just like what I'm doing here, I have one to kind of show you the slide and one to have the Google Hangout. We recommend that you have one for the WhoSet, which is the e-learning platform that we'll be using. It will have all the videos that the users have to watch. And then you have one window to do all the coding, and we use Bitsbox to do all the coding. And then if the task has images, you can actually download the images, and you can have the images will have your source code, which is your code to the task that you're working on, and you can just copy that code. So those are the 3 things that we recommend to make it easier, especially as volunteers. When you're going through this lesson plan, as we will do shortly, this is what we do recommend to make it easier on you. You log into WhoSet, as we said, and then watch the video. And each video, I'll go ahead and mention this later, but there will be videos. There will be 10 tasks, 1 through 10. We do ask that they do it in sequential order. If you do outside sequence, you will get lost. So we do highly recommend that the tasks are done on a sequential order. Each task you have to assign to yourself and then click on the task. We'll show you that afterward, but it's going to be the same thing in every task. So it's going to just repeat yourself after that. And then from task 3 to task 8, there's images of the source code. And we're just telling you that right now because that way you know that if they need the code, you have it here on your sheet of paper, and it's right here. It's only 25 lines of codes, but they will also have it on the platform itself. So on the right side of the column, on the day of the event, we made sure that we told people that there's no coding experience needed. Anyone, anywhere can participate in this. It is an hour of code, so we estimate that will take them about an hour to complete. And then you do have to register by December 7th. So if you guys for somehow fell through the crack, or you got the link from Jasmine and you didn't register, please register, because the registration will close on December 7th. We take all that list of registrations and give it to Guinness World Record, and they have that as a check-in point to all the people who participate on the day of December 11th. So it's very critical that you guys, if you have not registered, register, hopefully as we go through this lesson plan or even afterward, but just do it so that way you're counted as volunteers.
Just basic question, Dan. How do we confirm that our registration has made it through?
You do with the registration there. I mean, if you click on there, it actually does send you a confirmation email. So that registration has a confirmation email that sends to you.
What I always do is just re-click and search in my email and re-click and search in my email. And then on the day of, I'm probably going to research and click in my email again, because I never know if I'm registered for stuff. Every time I do one of these things, it's very weird.
I mean, I'm very similar in the same way. So
why isn't there an app that solves that for us, Google?
There's a lot of brain spinning right now while you're saying that, Cody.
So if I have the email, it says sign up confirmation CS Edweek Michigan Accelerate Guinness World Record event. It's confirmed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So to clarify, the Benevity program or the Benevity link is how we sign up through Google. That's actually separate from the Accelerate for Kids link. Sorry for the confusion that happened there. We have to do that occasionally for folks that require a little bit of a different system. So you will need to sign up again on the Accelerate for Kids website. I will send out another email blast after this meeting for folks for that. But I have sent out 2 to everyone who was signed up as of last Thursday.
Okay, thank you, Jasmine.
Actually, while she was talking, and I know that if I go through my windows, you guys will pretty much will see. There are only 3 steps here, and just remember, and I'm going to put those down as you guys go through the lesson plan. But number 1, going to the Mission Accelerate CS to register. That's number 1 before December 7th. Number 2, download the cheat sheet, which you already did. And number 3, on the day of the event, just open that cheat sheet and just start going. That's it. For you guys, it's really easy. Now, for the participant, they don't know this. So it's going to be a little bit because they're not aware of, of all all the things that we have for them, but it is available. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to continue. And so on this side, on the day event, we have the, if you're from Michigan, we have the Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist, who's going to do a live. We have a streaming YouTube channel that will go on for 24 hours. And our very own Darian, who's on this call as well, will be doing a lot of our streaming on YouTube, which is another Google product we're proud of. And we're going to be able to live stream that throughout the whole day with the Lieutenant Governor kicking off the event. He is a computer engineer by trade and from the University of Michigan. Down here on the bottom is your actual code. This is only 25 lines of code, you guys. Like we said, you have the answer sheet right here. So anybody who comes in, and depending on where they're at their task, each task has a number of codes. So like task 3 could be like task line 1 to line 4. But once you go through this, you'll see yourself. But it's this simple. You have the answer key. That doesn't guarantee that they're not going to make a mistake. There's with coding, of course, a comma, a parenthesis, something could be missing. But if you're able to chat with them and send them your code, they can copy and paste that in. You solve the problem. So it could be that easy. That's what I'm just trying to point out to you. So right here's your JavaScript code. We're using Bitsbox as our platform to have them write their code. And then down here on the second page is pretty much your syllabus. So this is just trying to give you an idea, and everyone has access to this on our website too. It's just an access to our syllabus, so what to expect on that day. So like I said, print this out, have it right beside you. This is your cheat sheet for the day. Any question there before we go on to the lesson plan, the actual lesson?
Will we be able to share screens in the Zoom room? Say if they have like a question, they can share their screen so we can look at it.
Okay, so my understanding is that with Zoom, you can do that in the depending on who the host provide as co-host. Now, I don't think you can have 50 co-hosts. That's my belief with Zoom. You might have 20 or 25, but I don't think you can have 50. So because of that, I don't think everyone can share their screen, but you can chat. So in other words, they can share their screen and we'll look at their screen. So so with that, let me just rephrase it. You can share your screen, but let me rephrase it. Oh, sharing screen you can do. I apologize. You can probably share your screen. It's the breakout. So only the co-host and host can do a breakout session. So we probably will have 1 or 2 hosts and co-hosts that can do the breakout session, but each of the volunteers in each of the breakout session, they can probably share their screen. So I should reiterate that. If you can't, then you can probably see their screen, and you can tell. The quick question to ask them as we go through the task is that, what task are you on, number 1? And if you know what task on, this is their code. That's pretty much it. And you just give.
Yeah, I think this answer from Zachary makes a lot of sense. Do it in the app, right?
Do it in the app. Yep.
You don't really need to do it in Zoom so much. You can probably just live look at what they're doing right there in this Bitsbox app.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to see someone's screen. You mentioned privacy earlier. I don't want to see some random screen.
Actually, that's a good
Please
code.
please don't share your screen with me.
Yeah.
If you're not, if you're just a participant or a child, please don't.
Well, actually, Cody, that's a good point, because I think someone asked, if the kid wanted to share your screen, are you able to? My suggestion is, if you don't have to, don't. But there's nothing that stops you from not looking at their screen, because if they share it, that's the only thing. All right.
Yeah.
So we'll go move on into the next session, and the next session is we're going to go to the programming lesson. So today we created you guys an account, and so we're going to go to Who Said. So you guys are going to go to Who Said, go into this link, use your email and the password to get into, and you want to sign up as students, and the password you want to use is called Max 2020. So you're going to use your email that you signed up for this training, and click on Max 2020, and I'm going to do this with you. So when you guys click there, you guys should be at this this window. Can you guys see my Who Said window?
Yes, we can.
All right. So we're going to go to student login, type in your email address, and type in your email, your password, which is Max 2020, and you get this Guinness World Record event. When you get there, you want to click on Guinness World Record event, and there's going to be 3 options. The first 2 options, Guinness World Record is still doing analytics and checking our engagement point from last week. So we have those 2 still going on. Since this is just a staging link, we created one for you guys. It's this 3rd one, most users to take an online computer programming within 24 hours training. And as you can see, the due date, December 4th. What I'm trying to let you know is that if you can't complete this during this time, you have this for this whole week to play with it. And again, it's not going to be too much, but you have to the end of the week. But after December 4th, you won't have a link to this anymore. So you just have to wait until the 11th. So that way, you start from scratch again. It's going to be the exact same lesson. It's just going to be a brand new one. And so hopefully you'll do more than 30 minutes on the day of the event. So I'm going to click on this. So if you guys don't
There's
mind.
a few people not getting in, by the way, just FYI. I'm one of them, and I think 3 or 4 other people so far have chimed in.
You've tried a few times and it's not taking my username and password.
David Chen, Steve, it looks like me a few tries. Can you try again, David, just to double check? I cannot log in. Thomas, can you try? Cody, are you not? Cody, you can't log in either?
Correct.
All right. Hey, Darian, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Do you mind dropping you guys' email addresses?
Well, you know what? Hey, Darian, I knew this was going to happen because could I just give him the dummy account?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start looking to the emails and just see if they're part of the file that we had.
So
Staging area.
okay. So Darian, would you help me out? I know you gave me some dummy accounts, and can I just go on and train? And can you just give? Can you do a private chat in here?
Yeah, sure thing. I'll email each person a login.
Yeah, don't email them. Just put them in the chat. Just chat them privately. I think it's Cody, Heather, Bhavesh, David. Okay, those 4. So everyone can log in except those.
I don't think you can. Jasmine, can you do private messages?
No,
they're all public, right?
Yeah, I'll need to send it to them.
Yeah. Well, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. So Heather, you can't do private chats here?
You can only do like individual breakout rooms would be the level that you would have to do it.
Got it. All right. Cool. So Darren's going to help the 4 people who needs the password. I'm going to just continue here to kind of get it going. So the first thing I want to do is, you guys all see my screen. This is the first thing you see is the Who Said platform. So we do ask them to watch the first video, and it's very important that they watch the first video. And for one reason, it gives them the instructions of how to kind of flow through each of the tasks. So it's probably the most important one, just so that way they know how to kind of approach the whole lesson. So I'm going to share with you the video, and so if you can watch with me, that would be great.
Hey guys, welcome to our Guinness World Record attempt 2020.
And I apologize, the window is small, but you can actually enlarge it in your screen. If I enlarge it, for some reason, it disappears.
For most users to complete an online computer programming lesson in 24 hours, my name is Darian Stevens, and I'll be your instructor for this event. And I'm so excited that you guys are taking the time out of your day to learn computer science and to be a part of making history with us. So for this event, you guys have already logged into a platform called Who Said that we'll be using to actually verify each person that participates in breaking the record. So a couple of things in this video that we need to go over is just what the Who Said platform is used for and how you guys can use it to make sure you get counted towards the record. So right here, you guys can see a screen that's probably similar to what you're looking at. Up here is probably a video where I'm talking, or you're probably watching this right now. And down below, you guys can see the description for the entire project. And you guys can see there's links for help if you want to go talk to a volunteer at any point in time in the project. If you get stuck, click that link for the volunteer help in the Google Meet, and there's already one set up where a volunteer will be right there waiting to help you. You'll also see a link down there for the live stream if you guys want to come back and just join the club and see what we're doing over there in the Accelerate Kid office on the day of the event. So the Who Said platform is used primarily to make sure we can see who is actually doing which tasks. So that's why you have this Assign to Me button over here on the right-hand side of the screen. And it's super important to make sure that for each task that you make sure that you click it and you assign it to yourself. And if you've assigned it to yourself, you will see your name right here in the Assign To column. And that's how you know you can now continue by clicking on this task, going into it, and actually continuing by submitting this task. So you'll see this button here that says New Submission. And for each task on the project, you'll click New Submission. And this is where you'll enter whatever you need to do, your code or some text to actually complete the task, okay? But you won't be able to submit it unless you have it assigned to yourself. So make sure you guys are assigning each task to yourself. And the last thing I'll say before we get started and we go down and we actually do this first task right here is to be sure that you guys take your time, don't rush through the videos and don't rush the code, because it does take a minimum of 30 minutes to count towards the Guinness World Record attempt, okay? So if you guys finish before 30 minutes, unfortunately, your attempt won't count towards the Guinness World Record attempt. And we wanna make sure you all get credit, okay? So make sure you take your time. It needs to be at least 30 minutes from the time you guys do the first task until you finish. And that way you'll count towards the record attempt and we'll make history, guys. So go ahead and go down there, assign yourself to task number 1 and click on the task link, and I'll see you guys in there in that video.
So pretty much that is the first video they're going to watch. And again, that's everyone has access to that. And the goal there is just to make sure that they understand what's going on. So now I'm going to go through the lesson. And what I want to do is I'll go through the lesson, and then I want you guys to go through the lesson, or you can do it yourself. But I definitely want you to do this, because after we do I'm only going to do 3 lessons with you, the task 1, 2, and 3. And the more importantly is that you're going to see it's the same thing over and over and over. The thing here is I just want you to know is the 3 things we need to do. Number 1, click on Assign to Me. You have to do that first, so that way you can make sure that, again, these are engagement points that Guinness World Record is looking at to make sure that we are accomplishing everything they want us to do. So you click on Assign to Me, then you go to the task, and you gotta click on the task. So that's 1, 2, and now you're in the task. You watch the video, do the code. The next thing you do is you're going to copy and paste that code over into Who Said, and then you submit, and then you start to the next task. You do the exact same thing. Assign to Me, task, watch the video, do your code, copy and paste, submit. Next task. Assign to Me, task, watch the video, do the code, copy and paste, and submit. It's the exact same process. But I do want us to go through the first 3. Before we do that, I'm going to log out because I realize I've already done this one. And I'm going to go in and sign in again to another account of mine. And that way I'll have a clean slate like you do, and that way we can do this together.
And just to clarify logistics, you want to have a humongous record, right? So you want the instructors to also be counted. But our 2-hour slot is for teaching others. So should we try to log in somehow later in the day or early on that day to do the exercise ourselves? How do you recommend to do that part?
Okay, so I'm going to try to answer that question, and I'm trying to log in at the same time. So I think I understand the question. My recommendation is that if you're going to be here volunteering, you might not have any volunteers. Again, we're hoping that they won't. We believe that we wrote the lesson plan and wrote the program securely enough that there are guardrails, that the last resort is them clicking on that link. Now, with that said, I mean, we don't know if they will. Some people might just click on the volunteer and stay with you forever for the whole entire task. But our goal is that if they don't, you should probably do it while you're volunteering. Now, let's say you're busy, then yeah, you're gonna have to find another time to do it. But again, you can do it while you're sitting there, to be honest. It should only take you 50 minutes. And if you're doing this for the second time, it will probably take you less, because you don't even have to sit and watch the video. But I can guarantee you, if you watch the video only and do it, just do the code, you'll be done within 30 minutes. Because we create the video so that if you just watch the code itself, it should be more. It should be a little bit over 30 minutes. All right. Okay, hey, Darian, I'm trying to get into my dummy account, and I'm having a hard time. So I'm gonna ask if
Oh, Gmail spelled wrong.
what? Oh,
Gmail.
okay. Got it.
Yeah, I misspelled my email when I was trying to sign in.
Okay, I got it. All right, so we'll go ahead and I'm gonna get started. So just pretend I already watched the video like I showed you. So if you're looking at my screen, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna go, this is the first thing you do. You go to Sign to Me. So you can click on Sign to Me. So what happens is you're on the same screen, but this time it puts your name on there. Of course, it's not my name. I'm using a dummy account. So I'm Mark Palmer today. And so it signs to me. So that's the first thing you do. The next thing you do, you go to task. You're going to click on the task. There you go. You're in the task. So the first thing after you're in the task, you want to watch the video. There's the video that gives you instruction. There's instructions right here, and then I'll share with you what other information you might have later on. But let's listen to the video for the first test.
So now we're going to start our very first task by going over to Bitsbox and getting set up so we can create our very first app. If you haven't, make sure you guys click on Assign to Me. Now, the first thing we're going to do to complete this task, guys, is we're going to open a new browser tab and we're going to visit bitsbox.com. Once you've gotten here to bitsbox.com, your screen should like this, and you're going to go up here to the right-hand corner and you're going to click Kids Sign In. Once you click Kids Sign In, you're going to see this yellow Get Started button, and we're going to go ahead and click that. You'll see another screen that pops up here. It says, are you here for the first time? We're going to click Let's Go. And then next, we're going to go right down here to this plus sign that says New App. And if you guys see this pop up that says, do you have a Bitsbox card with you? Just go ahead and click No. We're going to start from scratch. And you should be at this little screen right here. And now we're going to just go down here to the bottom and we're going to click Invent Your Own App. And once you click that, you should now see a screen that looks just like this right here. And that means you are all set, you're ready to get started, and you're completed with this task. So let's go back over to Who Said. And right here for step 9, we can see that we need to type done or finish to complete this task. So we already assigned ourselves. So let's go ahead and click New Submission. And let's type done. And let's click Create Task Submission. And now you're all set. So if you go back here to our project, you'll see that it has your submitted time here. So now we can move on to the next task. You guys can assign yourself, and I'll see you in the next video for task number 2.
So as you guys can see, this task 1 is pretty much just getting them started to open up Bitsbox. So how many of you have actually heard of Bitsbox, if you don't mind me asking? And I just go and flip for here. So you got probably 1, 2. Okay, so anyways, Bitsbox is developed actually from someone over in, I believe in Seattle. I can't remember the guy's name, but anyways, it's supposed to be a JavaScript in a box. So it's JavaScript, but there's a lot of scripting that is kind of made for just for so that you can use it in their little application. And so because of that, we're using Bitsbox. Hopefully you guys got that right on our little assessment. If not, you'll be able to get it right after our post-assessment. So the goal here is for you to understand that we use Bitsbox, and I'm gonna go through this one time for you. You can follow along or you can do it yourself because the instructions here, but I'm gonna go open our Bitsbox. This is where the website is. So from there, I go to Kids Sign In. I'm gonna click Kids Sign In, and it's gonna log me in, which I didn't want to because I was supposed to be logged out. Create no things. All right, so we're gonna start again. Get started. So I get this for the first time. Here for the first time, yep, let's go. And I get this screen. This is your new tablet, hooray. So I'm gonna click on this out and I'm gonna click on new app because I wanna create a brand new app. It's gonna ask me if I have a Bitsbox book or card. I say no. And then it says invent your own app, which is the bottom part, and you get a clean slate. So pretty much task 1 is just, it only wants you to get to here. And the purpose why if you have an account, that's great. You can bypass all this. So if you already use Bitsbox, you're familiar with this. But if you're new, this is where you want to be at. You do not need to create an account. The great thing about Bitsbox, the application, is that you can do everything you want and then create a link and then it's yours. But again, everyone as a default is the username is Big Coder. And so that's the only different. But you're not going to be able to save your work, of course, because you don't have an account. But at the very end, if they want to save their account, which we do remind them on task 10, they can create an account at that time. So that way they can save their work. But during the event, during the task 1 to task 10, they do not need to create an account. So I'm going to go back. So this is where task 1 wanted you to end. So I'm going to go back to task 1 and just go ahead. I'm sorry. And then go ahead and I'm trying to find my, I'm sorry, right here. I'm going to go here and then it said go to new submission. So this is the fourth step. You want to go to new submission and he said that you got to click done. I'm click done and then create task submission. And then pretty much it's going to show you that you submitted the word done. Again, this is what Guinness World Record wants us to do, is to make another engagement point that shows that they are involved and engaged. So we go back and you can see the 3 things that happen. We submit, we assign to ourselves, we looked at the task, and now we submitted it, that assignment, and it's timestamped, and we are done with task 1.
I was confused about that part. The instructions say type done. It would be nice to say where you should type done. Is it obvious? I mean, it's obvious to me, but I
totally understand. It's obvious to the user. You are correct. So when it says done, type done here, it does not say where. So what you would do is that, again, I'm going to go back here. I don't know if I can do a new submission. So this is where you're supposed to be at. And of course, when you have new submission, this is the only thing you're going to see. So of course, if it's a blank screen, that's the only place you can type. So that's where you have to type in done and then create task submission. And that's where,
it's a bit of a cognitive problem because there's 12 steps and each of them says click. So people are so used to clicking things, but all of a sudden they have to type. So I'm just warning you, people will be confused here. I was confused.
No, I think that you have a legitimate question, and this is where a volunteer might call up and say, "Hey, I don't know where to put the done in." This is where you would know what to say, because again, you're right. I mean, we're talking about middle school kids could be doing this, and they might be confused. So this would be a good question that they bring up. That of course you will have to know where they type in done.
Could we add that to the instructions though, like which website? I tried typing done in the app.
Oh, so if you want, again, this is like we said, if we go into the task and you have it, we can actually edit here and step now and make it more clear. So, and I'm assuming Darian, you can probably take note on this. And then in the video itself, it also shows you where to put typing the word done. So if it's not clear in the video, not clear in the instructions, then I believe that in the video, it does show you where to type in the word done.
Okay, that is fair, because right now you are sharing your video. It was super small. We couldn't see anything, but yeah, people watching the video will see better.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, again, I believe if I enlarge it, then it will disappear for some reason. It won't be shared, but I can try that in the next task. Any other questions for task 1? All right.
I have a basic question. I'm going to ask later on. So like we had problems with logging in Koo said, the actual students, do they know their login?
So that's a real good question. So the question is, do the participant, again, it might not be students because we have 45% are students, 55 are adults. If they don't know their login, then it's their email that they register with. So they have to know their email. That's that's one thing that they have to have. But the password is going to all be the same. And in that cheat sheet that we gave you, I think it's I think the password is GWR Breaker 20. That will be the password that everybody's going to use. It's just a common password.
Another basic question, since it's a common password, if it is leaked to the outside world, What if other users just spam the system?
Um,
Then
yeah,
so,
but
because that has happened in other cases.
yeah, so that's the one thing that we're trying to make sure of on our end when we did the dry run, just making sure that people are able to access, and that's why we did the dry run last week. I mean, anything can happen that day. You're right. I mean, anyone could have the same password if they have the same password. We try to make it easier. Again, it's a more like a fun event, and if we hope that no one ping the hell out of us, but that's something that we're hoping that it doesn't happen. But it will be the same password at this time.
Kind of along those lines, I've been curious. We know it's a 24-hour period. We know it's got the word most in it of people doing this. Are you doing something to ensure that there's a continuous stream? You're always going to have someone on the thing? And also, is there an expectation of what that number needs to be and how that would work for you to ensure victory?
So in regards, the question is to ensure our victory, make that within the 24 hours that we have everyone.
You meet the criteria that makes the world record successful.
So yeah, for the last 6 months, I'm going to say out of the 6 months, maybe 3 months out of the 6 months, we've been working with Guinness World Record, and they have a guideline this thick, and we just went through each of those guidelines, working with our dedicated Guinness World Record representative, and as of Monday, they checked us off and said, you guys are ready.
So as volunteers, we saw that it's good to do it during the school hours, which may or may not work for everyone. Like, I'm kind of feeling like one of my points is like, does there need to be a certain number of students on at 4 a.m. on Saturday for this to work?
No, you're absolutely right. Like I said, 55% right now are adults. So college kids, professionals. So I don't know their hours, and some of them are overseas as well. So again, we anticipate a majority of those kids are going to be during the school hours because they're going through our school district. All the school district in Michigan Department of Education has got them to participate. Now, everyone else, yeah, that's where we're wondering if outside of 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. time frame, there might be some people, but there could be a lot too, because again, 55% of those people are adults.
I think we're worried about the continuous in the name. What if between 4 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. there's 0 users in the system?
Zero.
Is your record not allowed to go through?
Yeah, I mean, if no one does their, I mean, 2 things. One is that if they're working on something and they do not finish it, they finish like do test 1 and doesn't complete test 2 until another hour, it doesn't matter. As long as they complete the whole entire task, it counts, number 1. If there's no one working at 4 to 4:30 or any time slot, no one's working on it. I mean, they don't count that. That's just it. They're looking at the final number.
Of people in that time period. Okay.
And it doesn't have to be within an hour. It could be a 24 hour. It could take them the whole 23 hours to complete it.
Okay, got it. Cool.
No, good question. So let's go ahead and move on to the next task, because I just really want to go 2 more tasks here. And so that way I feel very comfortable that like the routine here. So the first step here for task 2, again, is assign to me. And then I'll assign to you, as you can see here. And then you go to the task, click on the task, and then we recommend they watch the video. So we're going to watch the video.
So now we're going to go ahead and jump into our second task, which is going to be to customize this little icon that we have right here, okay? So first, let's go back over to Who Said, and let's make sure we assign ourselves to the second task so that when we are done with it, we can actually submit it. And now let's go back over to Bitsbox, and let's click on these double cards next to the Bitsbox icon, okay? You should see stamps, fills, colors, sounds, songs, fonts, and commands. And this is what we call the Bitsbox library. If you guys click on these different icons, you'll see that they pop up and it has their name on there, and we can use these names however we want to customize some different things. So for example, I like this Blizzard Blue right here, the color. So I'm going to use this Blizzard Blue color, and I'm going to use from stamps, this agent stamp to actually up to good with the gray question mark. So let's exit out of here, click on the icon itself with the gray question mark, and let's delete this code that we had in here, and let's actually go ahead and update it. So for me, I want to write fill. I'm going to open and close a parentheses like this. And inside the parentheses, we're going to need a double single quote. Whenever you're doing coding, each language has its own syntax. Like we have periods, commas, and exclamation points. The syntax for Bitsbox or any type of code is very, very important. And what you guys are seeing with the single quotations and the parentheses is exactly that. It's the syntax that lets us know that we're writing the right code. So inside of this now, I can write my Blizzard blue or whatever color that you guys might want to write. And I can click the play button. And then beneath that, I'm going to go ahead and write stamp. And I'm going to use the same syntax, open, close parentheses with single quotes. And inside the single quotes, I'm just going to write agent. And I'm going to click play. And now I've got my blue background with my agent icon. So feel free, guys, to go back over to the Bitsbox library and use any of those things in there to play around with your icon and try to update it. You don't have to use the same code I'm using here. In fact, I'm encouraging you guys to go try some other stuff. See how you can make your icon really cool, get it to work, make it look good. And when you guys are done, highlight your code. You can either right click it and do copy, or you can do Control C or Command C, depending on what type of computer you guys are on. So then you guys want to go ahead and click save this icon. You can see it updates here on Bitsbox. Now you got your new icon over here. And let's just go back over to WhoSaid. Make sure we click on task number 2. You guys are likely already inside of it. Let's click new submission. And let's go ahead and make sure that we right click and paste our code, or Control V or Command V. And let's go ahead and create a task submission, and let's submit our code. You have now completed your second task. You updated your own icon on Bitsbox, so now it's looking better when your users are using your app. And now we can move on to step number 3. So I'll see you guys in the third task.
All right, so we got task 2. So I'm going to just go through. I watched the video, and I'm hoping that every participant watched the video. And I'm going to go through, and I'm going to go back to my Bitsbox. And I said he wants me to update my app icon. So here's the app icon. And just due to time, I kind of know this. So I want to change I'm going to change my color to, I'm going to say orange. And my stamp into hammer. And I'm going to type in, and I got my new icon. I'm going to just copy. I'm going to save this icon. And I'm going to go back to my WhoSaid. Go to new submission, paste my code, and then create task submission. And I'm going to go down and go back. And you can see that it's timestamp my second task. Any question there? All right, so let's go ahead, and we're at 6 o'clock and we got 30 more minutes. So let's just do one more task. And again, I really recommend you guys are doing this, at least the first 3 tasks with me. So that way, if you're doing it, you can see some of the errors you run into, because a lot of times you're not going to see it until you do it. And when you do it and you find out you don't know how to fix it, this is a good time to ask. Not to say that, you're not going to get to task 4 to task 9 today with us, but at least you get an idea of what to do. And I think that's better than nothing. So I'm going to do task 3 for you. And the difference between task 3 versus the first 2 tasks, I want to see if you know. But again, we're going to go through the same process as assigned to me. And then I'm going to go to task 3, click on it. And I'm going to watch a video. And let's see if you know the difference of this task versus the other 2.
Could we do number 2 again?
I'm sorry?
Could we do number 2 again? I'm getting strange errors. The icon did not refresh for 15 seconds. I don't know what I did, and all of a sudden it worked, but it wasn't working. Can you do it very slowly? What did you do?
Okay.
You open up your debug panel and start following along.
So yeah, there's actually, Cody, you might be funny, you might be joking, but there is, if you did something wrong, it does tell you the error. So that's probably the third way before they contact us, is not only the video and the instruction, but Bitsbox also has their own error messages. Did you have any error messages?
I wouldn't think so.
Okay. Were you able to hit the green arrow button, and did it pop up your image?
Again, I just kept clicking around until it finally worked, but I didn't change any code. There's something weird about the refresh.
Okay. In regards to the Bitsbox, that's really not our control. That's actually Bitsbox. But I just send you my code. If you just get rid of their code and just copy my code, let's see what happens. I mean, again, you might have added something that that you didn't know, a fat finger. But just try that, and if you still have a problem after copy and pasting my code and hitting the green button, then let us know. Is that okay?
You have to click the green button and then save this icon. I was doing the opposite. I was clicking save this icon because usually saving does not lose your work. This is weird.
Yeah, actually, let me point. Actually, Philip, you brought a good point. In coding, everyone knows the word compile. The green button is the compile button, so it touches your code. So what that means is that when you in Bitsbox, actually the green button is also a save button. So if you want to save your work, just click the green button.
This is super intuitive. Instead of clicking save, I have to click play. Very good.
Exactly.
Very nice.
All right, so let's go on to task 3, and just quickly, again, going to task 3, we're gonna just watch a quick video and tell me what you see differently.
We're on task number 3 now, so let's go into Who Said and make sure we click assign to me for this task. Now we can head back over to Bitsbox and we can go ahead and get started with task number 3. Now we're gonna actually start to write our very first code to write our first Bitsbox app, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna write the word game screen like this, and we're gonna do an open and close parentheses just like that. This is the name of a function that we're getting ready to make in the very next line. And if you're not sure what a function is, guys, don't worry, we're gonna be talking about.
By the way, I just said, can you see my screen now when I enlarged it?
Yes.
Okay.
About it in our very next task, okay? But right now, let's just get our app started by writing game screen like this, open close parentheses, and then let's hit enter and go to a new line, and let's write function. And if you write it correctly, guys, you'll see that it's gonna turn blue because function is actually a key word in Bitsbox, okay? And then let's write game screen again, because we're giving it a name, the name of game screen. Now, if you guys look next to the P key on your keyboard and hold shift, you'll see an open bracket like this. And then directly next to that one, you'll see a closed bracket like that. So we want 2 of those because again, this goes back to syntax, guys, and the way that we actually write our code. So this is how the Bitsbox program knows that we're actually writing correct code. Again, the syntax is just like a comma or a period or exclamation point in English, okay? But it's very important that we use the correct squiggly brackets in the right places. So bear with me, guys. I know it might be a little weird, but we want to make sure we have an open and closed curly bracket like this. And in between the two, let's go ahead and press enter so that they're on a new line from each other like this. And inside of the game screen function, we are going to write the word reset. And then we're going to do an open and close parentheses like that as well, guys, because we are actually calling a command here, which if you go over to the Bitsbox card and we click it again, and we go to commands, you guys will see that we have a reset function right here. And you see the reset function erases everything on your screen. And if you pass an optional color, it can also fill the background with that color. So you guys can read more here, and this is where you can go to read all the documentation on the things that we can do with Bitsbox. But that's just to let you know a little bit about what we're doing with the reset here, okay? All the game screen function does right now, guys, is just reset our screen and make it blank. So when we click this green button, we'll see that it doesn't do anything. And that's because every time we click the button, we run the game screen function, which all it does is reset our screen back to blank, like what we're seeing right here, right now, okay? But if you have this right here, and no errors are on your screen, then you guys know you're good to go. You've done a great job. Make sure you highlight all your code right here, right click, copy, and then come back over to Who Said. Let's click on task number 3. Make sure we go to new submission. And let's go ahead and paste our code right inside of here. and click create task submission. And if you guys have any troubles or any worries with your code, if you run into any bugs, you have an attachment right here that has task 3 source code. So the source code always means that it's the code that you should have in order for your app to work. And this is a screenshot. So if you click it, you'll see exactly how your code should look or what it should match in order for it to work and be at the right spot for this task, okay? So that's all for task number 3, guys. You've done a great job. I'll see you guys in task number 4.
So as you can see, the video that the great thing about task 3, and it's going to continue all the way up to task 9, is that you're going to have this attachment here. And when you click on that attachment, you will see the code. So it's pretty much, if you look at your cheat sheet guide, you'll see that line 1 to line 5 is pretty much, or at least line 1 to line 3 is very similar. So that way you can kind of get an idea that as we complete this, each of the lines are going to be filled up and each of the attachment will have more and more lines of code. So that way, by the time the participant's done, they'll have hopefully something very similar. But on task 9, they're going to customize it. So we do give them an option to customize it, but at the very end. So we'll go ahead and go back. And I'm going to go to Bitsbox and type in what he said. So I think he said game screen, parenthesis, and then it was function. We're starting our first function. And it's game screen, and parenthesis, the squiggly bracket. I'm going to go down 1, reset, and then another 2 brackets. So I'm going to hit. So of course, now I'm going to pretend that I forgot a bracket, and if you hit compile, it tells you near line 2, syntax error, expected end of input. They said that did you start part of your code with a squiggly and forget to close with a closed squiggly? And that is true in this case. So again, I mean, besides the video, besides the instructions, besides the attachment, they also have this to help them debug. So we're hoping that, you know, they won't need us too much, and hopefully, you know, we'll be out of work. But that's just to be hopeful. But I just wanted to share with you guys that there's so many ways for them to get help. So we're done there. I'm going to just copy the code, and I'm going to go to who said, go to new submission, paste that, create task management, go back again, just kick them back, and now I got all 3 tasks submitted. So that's where I just want to stop right now. Again, we went through task 1, 2, and 3. As you continue, it's the exact same thing. Now, given that, just keep in mind that if you were to ask me what's the hardest task, what's the most important task, is even before task 1, is the first video. It tells and kind of set the whole thing up for the participant. But the hardest task, I believe, is on, if you look at your syllabus, it is task 6 and task 8, because they got the most line of code. And again, it's a lot more explanation. And I think the video there, I think one of them is like almost 5 minutes on task 8. So it's a little bit more difficult, but the point is that there's a lot more syntaxes that they're learning for those line of code. But with that said, they have the code in front of them. They'll have it not only in the attachment, not only in the video, but also they also have access to the code itself. So just feel confident that you can always copy and paste your code and give it to them. All right. I'm going to take a pause there and kind of go back into my slide deck here. And so we talked about the programming lesson. We showed you how there could be bugs, but then, you know, Bitsbox does a good job of explaining if you have a bug, possible solutions. And the solution that we recommend is that if you know what tasks they're on, just copy and paste your code in the chat box with them. Customizing issues. Now, this is where task 10, of course, once they're done with all their 25 line of code, now they're going to customize it. So they want to, instead of having a hammer or instead of having the word Guinness World Record, they want something else. That's where you're going to probably have to play with them, because if they get in there at that point, then you're going to figure out well, where in those 25 line of codes did they mess up. But the best way to help them out on task 10 is, if they did everything right up to task 9, they should have almost exactly what you have. It's just ask them, what did they do? What line did they change? And then just look at that line, and that should probably identify where they mistyped their commands. That's probably the worst case scenario. The other is that if they get an error message, they could probably figure themselves by looking at Bitsbox, because if they type something wrong, Bitsbox could give them that answer as well. All right, so we're gonna go on, and I got like 28 more minutes. So I want to really get through this. Actually, 18 more minutes. So I want to get through this. So troubleshooting, the way it works for the Zoom is, like, as I mentioned, we're going to have a supervisor in each of our session, and each of the session, you will get your time slot when you're going to be volunteering, and then you'll be joined in, and that supervisor is going to put you in a breakout room, and as people chimes in into the Zoom as they need help during the time frame of Friday, December 11th to Saturday, December 12th. They'll put them into the breakout room, whatever breakout room that's available, and then that person will help them out until they're done. We're hoping that if probably the largest help session or help session time would probably be between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. because it is during school hours. Now, we're not saying that adults won't have too much problem. We believe that they will probably use the virtual link, Zoom link, but we believe that most of them are going to happen during the school hours because, again, teachers might have issues or the kids might have issues. So keep that in mind, that that's when we're probably going to have most of our requests. The one thing about opening, accessing WhoSaid platform, again, we've already went through that. Opening browser tabs, again, my recommendation is, as you can see, I have one window having three tabs, which I can click back and forth. But again, I can tell you that if I was doing this for the first time, it's not easy doing that. So it's always good to kind of just having another window on the side. And as you watch the video, you can do it along with the video. That's our suggestion. Task videos and images, and as we talked about, we do have videos in every task and images on task 3 to task 8. Main support, again, your main support, all volunteers' main support is their Zoom supervisor. So our hope is that they will be able to answer your questions if you can't answer for the individual or if you need additional help. So that's it. I mean, those are the troubleshooting. Does anyone have any questions on other scenarios that you might think that you might run into? Okay. I guess, are we still with the training? Is everyone okay? Thumbs up?
Oh, good.
Okay.
I'm guessing, Ton, I don't know what your experience has been thus far, is that we're going to be doing a lot of explaining to people how to follow directions, and just keeping people organized, which is probably fine.
Very true. I mean, you said it right on the dot, Jasmine. So, but we can't assume what level of comprehension they have. So hopefully we can help them out. In regards to the last part is, I'm going to do again the post assessment one more time. And the reason is because we cover most of everything that needed to be in the post assessment. So let's see if we can just do the post assessment one more time and see, has anything changed in regards to your knowledge. So go ahead and click on that again, and let's go ahead and do that. Take a couple minutes filling that out. While we're doing that, Heather, do you know if I can play sound built right into, I know I can play like music with Zoom and it's built into Zoom. Can I do that with Google Hangout? or is it playing from like an external?
It would
speaker?
play from an external source.
Okay. Okay, while you're doing that, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. I want to kind of see, let's see if everyone's finished yet. Okay, so while you guys doing that now, I know that not everyone's finished, but right now we're it's at 70% for first question. What's the title of the Guinness World? So pretty much everyone knows that. That's 70% or higher. Where will you be doing? Where will you be doing all the code? Everyone says bitspark.com. That's almost 97%. In Bitspark, how do you create your new app? And everyone says click on the plus sign to create a new app. So that number there is 90%. And then where will you? The thing keep popping on me. How do you compile your code? 93% knows it's the green button now. Does anyone know how you save your code? It's the same thing. It's the green button too. So if they want to save their code in the in anywhere in the Bitspark, just hit the green button. In Bitspark, what does big coder mean? That is your default name. It looks like 78% only knows that. So if you guys don't have an account and you are using it for the first time, big coder is just a default name. So that's nothing wrong with that. How do participants get help from a volunteer? So pretty much they have to go to in the Who Said there'll be a Zoom meeting link, and they just click on that. 85% got that. How do participants access the Who Said platform? So go to the student account. So I mean, hopefully everyone knows that now. Under whosaid.com, just go to the student account and log in. How do you open a new window in a browser? So again, any browser, it doesn't matter if it's Explorer, Safari, or even Chrome. Just go to File and select New Window. And how do volunteers get help? So you just contact your Zoom supervisor. So I think you guys got most of all of that, which I'm happy with. So that feels confident that you guys kind of understand that. I'm going to go ahead and share with you one last thing. Let me see if I can go back to the share screen. Okay, so you can still see my screen then, right?
Yeah.
Now we can. Now it's back showing its videos. So if you want to show your slides.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I thought you said no, you can, but you said now you can. I got it. Okay, so this is the last slide. So this is the schedule for that day. So 7:30 a.m. We're hoping that the first group of volunteers will show up at least 15 minutes early. We say 30 minutes just because we know that it's early in the morning, and again, depending on who we have volunteering, we just want you to be on there a little bit early because we anticipate that once we open the gate, then people will start logging in. Worst case scenario is that everyone wants to get it over with. At 8 o'clock, we start everyone. That's when the Who Said will allow you to start completing your task, and we will have the Lieutenant Governor on our YouTube channel kicking off the event live. Throughout the whole 24-hour period, we're hoping we'll have some guests and some activities through our YouTube streaming. So 8 a.m. we're going to start, and then at 4 p.m. we anticipate that's the biggest, that's the largest activity because it's just kids in school. So definitely, hopefully you guys, when you sign up for your schedule for volunteering, we hope that we have quite a bit during that time frame. But that's not to say that we don't need you doing the night shift, which is very important too, because that's our morning hours if people need help. Then we got 12 a.m. Sorry about that. 12 a.m. we'll need volunteers to support the late shift. So usually from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So I know that we do have some Google people from Hong Kong. So hopefully they'll be the one that can help us out the night shift. And then 8 a.m. Saturday, Guinness World Record will wrap up, and the adjudicator will announce, hopefully within an hour, if we have broken the world record. And we hopefully are able to celebrate with all the people, all the volunteers who has helped us.
Tom, how many participants have signed up?
So right now we got about over 600, and but we got about 4,000, I think 4,200 students, but they haven't registered. So we've been trying to help them register because they have to get the parents or guardians' consent to participate. So that's where the bottleneck has been, and we're trying to get all those 4,000 in because we have 4,200 kids that signed up, or at least anticipate to sign up. But every one of you guys and girls, we really do want you to participate. So on that day, you definitely have to participate. So every participation counts. You have to do it within 30 at least 30 minutes. And on top of that, please share the registration link. If you did not register through us, if you did it through I forgot what link Jasmine said that she put the activity.
Mm-hmm.
But please go to this. Hey Q, can you go ahead and put that website on there? But that is the website that you want to make sure that you have you register at. And again, registration does close on Monday, December 7th, and we do give that to Guinness World Record so that we can have that in the books. So the more we have, the better. We always use the Murphy Law. If you know that law, we always consider half of the people will show up. So the more people we can have, the better we can. So if you know anybody that you can help spread the word, please do so. Because the one company, you know what? The one company that actually did this was last week. They knew that we were already attempting to do this world record, so they came into the ball game. So they are coming out in London, and they are a consulting firm. So, but they didn't get. They pretty much were anticipating 20,000, but they came out about 10 times short. So they're about 2,800. So all we're trying to do is beat 3,000. All right.
I would say this too. Everyone here should have a LinkedIn. If you have professionals in your LinkedIn, I'm sure everyone has more than 200 or 300. That's an easy, low-hanging fruit. So just put on your LinkedIn, spread the word. And again, what Tan was saying about the bottleneck with the students, I think the backup plan